know the truth. My life is real, so please don't get it twisted. My blues the same, ain't gotta be dealt with. These are the things I wish you knew. Yeah.
Daddy, you can't have the TV on right now. Sorry.
What?
You can't have the TV on right now. I'm filming.
Why you mean like right now?
Right, as in like this moment.
For how long?
Until I'm finished filming.
For how long?
Daddy, you were upstairs this whole time. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. I know I look a little bit rough. Don't mind me. I just came from the library. So today, I'm doing a little bit of a different video for you guys. I'm gonna be cooking in the kitchen with you. I'm gonna be making a super simple meal. So if you don't know how to cook, you don't cook that often, or whatever the case is, don't worry, I'm meeting you right where you're at. All the ingredients are super simple. This recipe is really easy to make. It's not really even a recipe, I just kind of go off the cuff. As a side note, there really are no measurements here, so I cook based on what I taste, what I like, and how I want my food to turn out. And I can kind of, you know, once I've cooked something for X amount of time, I can kind of guesstimate how much of each thing I'm gonna need. So I'll try my very best to tell you approximately how much of each thing that you're gonna need, but overall I don't really measure anything. So just kind of follow along with the video if you are cooking and watching at the same time. So like I said, today we're making a super simple meal. I'll be making chicken Alfredo with fettuccine pasta. I'm gonna be putting some veggies in it. It's gonna be, like I said, really quick, really delicious, and something that, you know, even if you don't finish it in one sitting, it'll still be rich and creamy for the next day. If you decide to have leftovers or whatever the case is, you can always add your own sides, salad, garlic bread, whatever the case is. I'm gonna be showing you all the ingredients and how I throw it down in the kitchen. So let's get started. Okay, so first things first, please wash your hands, which I already did before I cut this camera on. So yes, first things first, wash your hands. The second thing is to get your pot with your hot water ready. So I just filled up a nice size pot. With water. I put it on high, the lid is on, so it's gonna boil. That's the best way to get water boiling quickly, is to make sure that the lid is on the pot. So I'm boiling this water because I'm making a lot of pasta. You can put a little bit of olive oil and or salt so that your noodles don't stick together while they're cooking. I don't normally put any of that in my pasta water, so that's just how I do it. You do it however you're used to making your own. So in terms of ingredients, I'm gonna show you what I have. So I have one 473 milliliter carton of heavy whipping cream, 2 packages of boneless, skinless chicken breast, some green peas. That's my veggie of choice. If you know me, or if you rock with me for a really long time, you know that green peas are literally my life. So they're gonna be going in this meal. You don't have to use green peas. You can use broccoli, you can use spinach, whatever you like. I'm gonna be using 2 kinds of cheeses, Parmesan, and I'm also gonna be using some old cheddar, just for a little bit more of a zing. Like I said, I'm gonna be using fettuccine noodles, fettuccine Alfredo, and then some fresh parsley. I'm gonna be using a little bit of butter and some extra virgin olive oil. And then last but not least, obviously the seasoning for the meat. You want some black pepper, salt if you use salt to season your meat. I'm also gonna be using some Italian seasoning, and because I'm at home, my seasoning selection is very limited, so that's pretty much it. I might be using a ground pre-mixed seasoning that my dad sometimes makes to season up the meat. So let's get started with preparing the meat so that it can get on the stove. Okay, so I guess the reason why I decided to do a cooking video with you guys is because it's a little bit different. I love to cook. Sometimes when I go live on my YouTube channel, you know, I'm cooking, or I'm at the end of making a meal, or whatever the case is, and I've had people ask me, oh hey, why don't you show us what you're making, blah 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 blah. So I decided, why not? I like to cook in a kitchen that doesn't have anything in the sink. So the key to cooking is making sure that you clean as you go. That's probably one thing, like if I could say that I've taken anything away from learning how to cook, it's definitely to clean as you go, so you don't have a huge mess at the end. first things first, I'm going to take my meat out of the package and clean it off. I know that some people are opposed to cleaning and touching their meat. I am not one of those people. You can get my hairs out of the way. Rinse my hands again before I touch anything. But yeah, I'm just taking the meat out of the package, dumping it right in to a container in which I'm going to use to season the meat. Before I do that, I'm just going to wash it off. You can use lemon, you can use hot water and salt. I like to use vinegar just to clean my meat off, make sure that, you know, any bacteria that might be lingering around, it's not so good, kind of gets cleaned off. It's just a customary thing for me, and that's just how I do it. So just pour a little bit of vinegar in just like that. Put that to the side. So I'm gonna do my best to kind of like show you guys what I'm doing as I'm doing it. Right now I'm just washing off the meat with some hot water. I like to rinse it twice after I put the vinegar on it. And like I said, this is a quick meal. I'm trying to move as quickly as I can because I have somewhere to be. So you know, I'm just trying to give you guys a little quick midweek dinner idea, just in case like you don't know what to make, you are limited with your time. This is a really good meal to kind of make and store. So like I said, I wash my meat off once or twice, sometimes 3 times, just get it nice and clean. Okay. It's always good to have a nice like rag with you while you're cooking so that, you know, you can dry your hands in the meantime. So this is what my chicken looks like. Now that it's nice and clean, you can see it's in this silver bowl. And now I'm just gonna cut it up into chunks. I'll show you how big the chunks are that I cut it up into. As you can see, there's still some water left in there. I'll just rinse the rest of that out and cut it up, and then we're gonna season it in the same bowl. It's already a pretty lean cut of meat if you're using chicken breast. You can alternatively use chicken thighs if you want a more juicier cut of meat. But I wouldn't recommend anything with bones. It just makes, you know, the work a little bit harder. And chicken thighs are a little bit cheaper too. So if you're like a student, you can try and maybe get chicken thighs as opposed to chicken breast, which sometimes can be a little bit more costly. I know that when I was in my undergrad, I cooked a lot, even though we had meal cards. I cooked a lot because I don't mind eating out, but I don't love it. So if I have the opportunity to cook, and like I'm a leftover queen, literally. So if I have the opportunity to cook and leave it for the week, I can literally eat the same thing the entire week. So it's not really an issue for me as it might be for some people. I'm gonna show you in a second how big the chicken pieces are that I'm kind of cutting up. As you can see, the meat is kind of just chunked. So what I did was I cut the breast just like this. I cut this breast into strips just like that. And then each little strip, I sliced it up into little cubes. And so there'll be enough meat for, you know, a huge meal, or for you for several days. I've actually been cooking for a really long time. It's funny because when I was younger, my mom used to make me cut up vegetables, and I hated it with my entire being. But now, you know, looking back, like doing stuff like that, sometimes I would call home when I was away at school and ask my dad for, like, you know, instructions on how to make certain like things that are more like Jamaican recipes, if you will call them, like soup and curry chicken and all that sort of a thing. And my mom, like, I will ask her how to make things like lasagna, oxtail. Yeah. So I don't know if I mentioned, but I use 2 packages of the chicken breast. You don't have to use that much. You can use 1. if you're using chicken breast. Okay, so once you're done, I'll cut up, toss it back into the silver bowl, season it up, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like before I put it into the pot. As you're seasoning this meat, you can turn your pot on that you're gonna cook the meat in and put some of your olive oil and your butter in there so that it won't stick to the pot unless you have a non-stick pan. And I would still advise you to use a little bit of butter, a little bit of olive oil, or whatever other type of oil you have. I just like extra virgin olive oil personally. So I'm adding about 2 tablespoons, 2 big tablespoons of butter. Add about a tablespoon of olive oil. So I used about a tablespoon of this blended seasoning that my dad has. You can use whatever seasoning you normally use to season your meat. I'm putting a little bit of black pepper. You use that to your liking, to your taste liking. So once your meat is seasoned up, it should look something like this. And then if you want to let the seasoning sit for a little bit longer, you certainly can. You can even do this overnight if you want. And then you're just going to, once it's done, seasoning and it's, you know, soaked in some of the flavor, put it right into the pot. As you can see, the oil and the butter are nice and heated up, which is exactly what you want. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and dump all this chicken into this pot. In there while keeping an eye on the chicken over there. So just putting in some veggies like that. And the noodles, cook them until they're al dente. And you'll know they're not going to be too hard and they won't be too soft. About 8 to 10 minutes should be okay, sometimes 12, give or take. With my chicken, making sure that nothing is sticking to the bottom of the pan, so just moving the meat around a little bit. This is hard to do with one hand. I don't know how YouTubers vlog like this and live their everyday lives. So I realized that the lighting for this video is going to be horrible, but the purpose of it was literally just to show you guys a quick meal that I do in the kitchen that, you know, might come in handy for you at some point. Should not take too long. I didn't time it. I should have, just to let you know how long it takes, but I would say give or take 30 minutes, 20-30 minutes. If you're making smaller portions, obviously it's going to take a little bit less time, but because I'm making a lot, it's going to take a little bit more time. Side note, chicken breast does not take that long to cook, so you don't want to overcook your chicken breast. And you're also going to be mixing it up with the cream sauce and with the noodles once everything is cooked, and it'll have even more time to soak in some of the flavor and cook a little bit more. So you really just want to make sure that you're, especially if you're using chicken breast, is not overcooked, because it'll make it very dry and almost rubbery. So that's a note. In the meantime, in between time, I'm going to cut up some parsley that's going to garnish the pasta once it's done. I have a bunch of parsley. I'm probably not going to use all of it. You can use dry parsley, but I just love the look and the taste of fresh parsley. I'm going to use about half the bunch. Make sure you wash your parsley before you go ahead and chop. Cut off the stems, and then you can rough chop the rest of the parsley. So I'm just going to check on our pasta here. It's funny because a friend of mine says that I'm always making pasta, and now that I think of it, I really literally am always making some type of pasta dish. Which is funny because I don't really love pasta. It's just simple, you know? So this is looking good. Not quite finished. The chicken is looking good. Still has a lot of pink in it, so it's not cooked yet. This is honestly not the best way to be cooking meat like this because it's a little bit too crowded and all the meat is not going to be properly cooked. So if you have a frying pan of some sort, that's a lot better. Okay, so the noodles should be just about done. I'm going to take them off the stove, strain them in my colander, and then set them to the side. You can also alternatively run some cold water on it just to stop the cooking process. So, noodles. Well, I strained out all my pasta into the colander and I'm going to put it back in the pot. Try to strain this chicken out and put it in a separate bowl to the side so I can make the cream sauce. So now what I'm gonna do is, this is obviously boiling up. This is the butter and the oil and the seasoning from the meat. I'm going to put this entire carton of heavy whipping cream into this and whisk it till it thickens up. Whole thing. And because the meat was in there, it's nicely seasoned. Like this budget bootleg whisk right now.
I don't need no confirmation, bro. I don't need.
So you want to keep the stove on high.
What do you mean? What?
And keep whisking until this thickens up. So I used about a cup of grated cheese, and you don't have to use sharp cheddar. This is just what I had on hand. And you want to keep whisking while you're adding the cheese. And it's gonna thicken up really nicely. I'm gonna add this entire container of Parmesan. This Parmesan is not the grated kind. It's kind of like cut up in chunks, which I really like. So I'm gonna put some in here, and then the rest I'm gonna use for garnish. I'm gonna do a little taste test to see.
Monique, we're hungry. Hungry.
The amount of time that it's taking me to cook is normal.
No, that's why you take up too much
Absolutely
time.
not. Can you leave me alone, please? Oh my gosh, I don't come in and heckle you.
You should do some of this too. Throw a dash of this
I'm not throwing a dash of anything in there.
in there. No. Some of the asparagus.
What? That's not asparagus.
What's
That's
that?
parsley.
Put some of this in.
I already have parsley.
No, put some of the, this is the
This
homemade
is the
sauce.
this is fresh parsley,
This
not
is
dried.
fresh.
No, that's dried. Why are you? Can you stop eating the meat and get out? Oh my god! Let's add this chicken that I cooked back into the pot with the cream. This is still cooking. You want to see it bubble and boil up a little bit. But I'm just gonna add the chicken back in here. Can you stop interrupting? Thank you. Thing all together, it should look like this. I'm gonna stir this around for a little bit. I'm gonna garnish it with the parsley that I had cut up, and this is kind of how it looks, very roughly chopped. I'm just gonna sprinkle that on top. Parmesan cheese right on top. A little bit more black pepper for seasoning and taste. and creamy chicken Alfredo. I hope you enjoyed it, guys, and I'm so sorry about this bad lighting. Don't mind how terrible I look so trash, but you know, we came out winners here. We have our dinner, and that's really all that matters. If you guys like this video, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, comment in the comment section. If you want me to do some other cooking type videos, if you have any other recipes that you'd like to share with me, if you've tried this and you want to tag me in a picture, please go ahead and do that. Until the next video, I will see you guys later. Happy eating. Bye, guys.
The food could have on the stove.
That's right, man.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm gonna be doing a little bit of a different video for you guys. I'm gonna be doing. Can I film? Guys, welcome back to.
Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel.
Me and my dad and my brother in the kitchen.
If you don't really know how to cook, it's beginner friendly. You're in my shot.
Robert, you know.
How? I just put it in the sink.
You weird up?
Oh my gosh.
I just put it in the sink.
Sorry if I'm looking a little bit rough. It's been a long day.
You are rough.
Violated.
Edit it, edit it.
Chicken
Robert, come
Alfredo. Can you guys stop talking in the background, please? I just want one cut.
Sean Fletcher ready for dinner. YouTube. Robert, come here.
Run on them thing, you know.
Big up every real, but me no carry feelings.
All of this is going in the
Don't
video.
put this on you there. I'm gonna.
Don't touch anything of mine. If you love your life. Can you take out the olive oil, please?
Help her. I want you to stay upstairs. Do not go downstairs. Help her in the kitchen. You put your milk into this thing. So, what is dinner?
Excuse me, can I?
Then
I
how long
don't
this?
interrupt anyone.
How long this hour
When you guys are in here. I don't interrupt.
Long.
Yeah.